Hello, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for joining me for a cup of coffee. Why not? A cup of coffee and a little chit chat on my little ditties this morning. Excuse the slurp that is now going to come all over the screen. That's not quite how I meant that to sound. But anyway, cheers. Yes, in a good mood today. And it's actually moods, well, emotions, I suppose, I want to talk about. I was recommended to buy a book, and here it is. It's called, Excuse Me, Your Life is Waiting. It's one of these positive mental attitude type books, of which, over the years, I have read many of them. You know, The Think and Grow Rich, The Power of a Positive Attitude, Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Annoy People, or whatever it was called. The Astonishing Power of Positive Feelings. Feelings, nothing more than feelings. Sorry, you can switch back on now. And it's an American book. I don't know when it was written in. Oh, it's quite recent. It reads like something from the 1960s when there was that sort of psychological publishing that was going on left, right and centre, and everybody was, you know, publishing how to get rich quick. Basically, the idea is you print a book that tells you how to get rich quick, and everybody buys the book, and it says in the book, print a book about how to get rich quick, and that seems to be how you do it. It's an interesting idea, and I haven't had a chance to read it, but I think there's an essence of truth in all of this, that I don't know whether you've ever thought of yourself as a transmitter and receiver, like a radio, a two-way radio. That we are broadcasting silently without necessarily being aware of it, vibrations. You know, you walk into a room and you see that a couple have had an argument, and there's something in that room, isn't there, that you don't even need to have witnessed the argument, but you know that is not a good place to be, and you find the excuse to exit. Or you're looking for a house and you walk in and you go, oh, this is a very lovely house. There's something about this that I can't put my finger on. Yes, it looks nice, but there's something about it. We all get that sort of, pick up those sort of things on a very sort of low level. Well, I think that actually we as people, as what you might say souls or spirits, whatever you want to call it, as the being inside the body is broadcasting, not just with our flappy mouths, as I do, and the lovely Julia tells me how flappy my mouth is, but also sort of silently. We are broadcasting vibrations. Now, the premise... Pardon?
Non-verbal.
Non-verbal, thank you very much. Sounds off there. And the premise of this book is really to sort of say it's not just positive thinking, that, you know, you can say, well, I'm going to get rich, or I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do that. I need to be positive all the time. But that can be actually quite hard work, trying to be positive all the time when you get, as we often do get, those black thundering letters that says you owe us all this money, and if you don't, we're going to send the boys round. And the next minute you look out the window and 20 thugs are there to evict you from your house. It's very hard to stay positive at that point. And of course, the emotion to be positive, those feelings that you have, I think are in fact broadcasting out like a weather vane in a way. And I think it's important that it just seems to me fairly logical that if one can exude or broadcast or put out into the ether positive, happy, joyous, wonderful feelings, chances are events and things are likely to happen that come back to you. Now, I'm not saying all the woo-woo stuff, although, you know, to a certain degree, one foot is in that camp, that I think we can control things, because at the end of the day, we are all there is. There is only now, and there is only us. There is nothing else. I believe that a lot of this is all an illusion, and we are the magicians that create it. Unfortunately, we are duped by the other magicians who are here, some of the nefarious ones, to create not quite such a nice place, because we're always in fear. Our feelings, our emotions and our vibrations are really low. because of the letters that we often get, the bills. You know, how often do you get a bill that says you owe me £750,000 and you go, yippee, that's so exciting. We tend not to do that, unless, of course, you know, you've got so much money and you've desperately got to spend it, a bit like Brewster's Millions, and then it's a good thing. But most of us will go, oh God, I've got this bill, this bill. And of course, we know at the moment the government with their big stick are really stirring it up to make us feel pretty low and have our vibrations down. And that, we think, is where we are out of control, that circumstances are against us and making us feel bad, which to a degree it is. However, emotions and those feelings that we have is a choice. We can choose how we feel. It's difficult, you know, your child runs out into the road and gets run over. It's very then difficult to go, oh, well, I'll just carry on feeling happy about it, unless, of course, he was the black sheep of the family and you really didn't like him. But that's no excuse to still to sort of stand on the pavement and go, yippee! But we do have a choice with our feelings, and we often forget that actually it is us inside, the real I, that can manipulate those feelings. We allow other people's feelings to fall on us, and then we feel that. So often we'll see some things that are bad and we start to sink down into that sort of low vibrational state. And therefore, I think that when that happens, we're attracting low vibrational things. Whereas even if you've got bad news, it's a question of going, okay, that's bad news. And trying not to go, you know, like that would be the neutral line, isn't it? Okay, I've got to accept this and I must accept it. I'm not going to let me sink into a quagmire and go downhill. Now, Julia will tell you, I am the last person who can manage to do that myself, because sometimes I get very stressed trying to do 101 things, trying to get things done to please other people, or to get books out to the post office, or to get plants in the ground, or whatever it is. And I may not be the one to say, oh, I can do all this. I'm not saying that at all, by the way. But it does seem to me that this is work in progress, that perhaps it would help us in these difficult situations to be able to control our feelings. Because if we are attracting negativity back by pushing out negativity, it makes a lot of sense, therefore, to try not to have those negative feelings when we get frustrated or we get concerned or we get worried, because they're basically going into the ether. And I think there is a lot of this that does make a lot of sense. You may think, Richard, you're barking up the wrong tree, you're completely bonkers. I haven't read the book, so I don't really know what she's talking about. But to me, the more joyous we can feel, the more pleasure we have, the more that we can keep our vibrations high, the more we stay away from all the negativity by turning off the television, by reducing the amount we watch on YouTube, particularly things that are negative and bad and say, oh, everything's coming to an end, or it's really, you know, the more we can throw that away, I think we do create the reality around us. And the reality for many, because they are so under pressure from this, that and the other and their negative feelings, I think no wonder things don't get better. So give yourself a big smile, look in the mirror and say, life is good, and try and get those feelings up as best you can. I'll tell you if I've revised these thoughts after I've read the book and many others. But until then, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you very soon. Cheers.